Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padagamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Tagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखामृतां च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नितिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing our discussion from fourth canto. Last time we discussed chapter 21.
21. We completed that, no?
Yeah. So we'll continue with chapter number 22. Prithu Maharaj meets the four Kumaras. In the 21st chapter, we heard Prithu Maharaj, after getting blessings of Lord Vishnu, he returns back to his kingdom. He is welcomed by his citizens very nicely, and he very humbly, politely, he instructs them, telling them how to follow, why to follow the principles of devotional service. It will be beneficial for the king also. In a very gentle way, humble way, he explains to them the process of devotional service, and that's how he ultimately established the glories of the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, and then all the Brahmanas, they departed. And then chapter number 22nd, Prithu Maharaj meets the four Kumaras. So in this, Prithu Maharaj, he meets the four Kumaras, and Sanat Kumar, after explaining the principles of Jnana Marga, he teaches Bhakti also to devotion to Prithu Maharaj. So that's how the chapter begins. I'll just share the screen first. Maitreya Uvacha Janeshu Pragnitishvevam Prithum Prithula Vikramam Tatropajagamum Munaya Tatvara Suryavarchasaha.
The great sage Maitreya said, while the citizens further praised the most powerful king Prithu, the four Kumaras, who were as bright as the sun, arrived on the spot.
So the four Kumaras, they are the personification of the Jnana Shakti of the Lord. There are four aspects of devotional service, of knowledge: Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapa. So these four Kumaras represent these four qualities. And it was described in the third canto also that these four Kumaras, they represent these four potencies: Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapa. And since Vidya without Bhakti is useless, so Bhakti should also be present. So Bhakti, when after Brahmaji created four Kumaras, then they had Vidya, but Bhakti was not prominent. Then Bhakti was created in the form of the personification of devotional service is Narad Muni, the Bhakti Shakti. Okay.
Who represent Vidya? Prabhuji?
These four Kumaras, they represent each of this Sankhya, Yoga,
Okay.
Vairagya, and Tapa.
These are four parts
These are
of
the
Vidya.
yeah.
Hmm.
So these are the four qualities of Vidya: Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapa. So these four Kumaras, they represent these four aspects of knowledge, jnana.
Ah.
So although they were very small, they were 5 years old, but they are very powerful. They look like bright sun. So everyone, they got up just by having darshan of these four Kumaras. They could understand. Okay. Tamstu Siddheshwaran Raja
Anstu Siddheshwaran Raja
Yomno Avatarato Archisha
Yomno Tarto
Lokana Papan Kurvanan
Lukan Papan Kurvana
Tanugochashtalapshitan.
Seeing the glowing effulgence of the four Kumaras, the masters of all mystic power, the king and his associates could recognize them as they descended from the sky.
So they are Siddheshwara. They were the masters of all the mystic powers. They are not ordinary beings. Although they were 5 years old, but they are Siddheshwara, master of all mystic powers. The 8 mystic powers are mentioned in the 11th canto also, and we have heard in the Nectar of Devotion also. Anima, Laghima, Ishita, Vashita, Prapti, Kama, Vashaita, Parakamya. So these are the Siddhis. And these four Kumaras, they are Siddheshwara. They have achieved all the yogi perfections, and therefore they could travel anywhere. So Prabhupada writes, they didn't come by airplane. They came personally. They had the power. They could travel without machines. They are the residents of Siddhaloka. The special power of Kumaras mentioned here is that whatever place they went to would immediately become sinless. That is the power of four Kumaras. So it depends on the power of a particular personality, the influence of a particular personality. They can create a particular environment just by their presence. Just like Srila Prabhupada, wherever he would go, he had that power to invoke all the good qualities out from a person. Just by his presence, people could get transformed. That's the power of a great personality. So every person has a particular type of, as they call it, aura. They have influence. So everyone has some influence. Some people have very little influence. Some people, they have no influence. They get influenced by others. They have negativity. Some have positivity inside them. So it depends on what type of influence you are creating. So if we have lots of positive influence, then just by our presence, people will get affected by that mood. So every person has little or more of this influence. So, and all of us experience that when some great devotees, when some Prabhupada disciples or spiritual masters, they arrive, they have the particular purity. And that purity immediately brings a ordinary living entity to a certain level of consciousness. They automatically feel elevated in their consciousness. So Prabhupada writes, the special power of these Kumaras is wherever they go, they make the place sinless. That's how powerful these personalities were. They were not ordinary beings. During the reign of Maharaj Prithu, everything on the surface of the globe was sinless. And therefore, Kumaras decided to see the king. Ordinarily, they do not go to any planet which is sinful. So naturally, they will prefer to go only to a place which is sinless. And if there is some subtle sin which is present, it becomes nullified by their presence. Taddarshanodgatam pranam pratyaditsurivotthitah vadastastasyanugo vainya indriyesho gunaniva.
In the fourth class, Prithu Maharaj was greatly anxious to receive them. Therefore, the king, with all his officers, were very hastily got up, and anxiously, as a conditioned soul whose senses are immediately attracted by the modes of material nature.
So in these 6 verses, first to 6 verses, Prithu Maharaj is about to show a very wonderful reception. So in this verse, he is showing his eagerness to receive a guest, how a guest should be received. Tad darshanodgatam. He was greatly eager, anxious to see them, to receive them. Darshana udgatam. Udgata means he greatly desired. Pranan, so just like life. He was really anxious to receive them. Pratyaditsur ivottitaha. So he hastily got up and he went to welcome them. As anxiously, and then example is given. When senses are immediately attracted by the modes of material nature. Sa sadasya nugo vainya. He went with his ministers just like indriyesho gunan iva. It is natural for senses to go towards sense gratification. It is natural for one to get attracted by the material nature. Similarly, Ritu Maharaj, he very hastily, he immediately got attracted. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, he says, when he was asked, how you have developed this attraction? He said, my attraction is, क्या शब्द यूज करते हैं वहां पे? My attraction for Krishna, Lord Vishnu, is naisargiki. He uses this word, naisargiki rati. It is spontaneous. Just like a magnet is attracted, just like iron filing is attracted to magnet, my mind is naturally attracted to Lord Vishnu. Nobody has trained me. It is natural for me. So in the conditioned state, our naisargiki rati is for
Maya.
Maya.
Towards Maya.
So that is naisargiki rati.
सवेरे उठ के मोबाइल देखते हैं
उसके लिए बोलना नहीं पड़ता है. That's how pure devotees, their naisargiki rati is for Krishna. So this example is given. So that's how the host should receive the guest. Otherwise, in 5th canto it is described there is a hell, which is for those people who don't receive the guest properly. That is called as Raurav hell. There are ruru birds. They pluck away the eyes of a person because if some guest comes and the host, he stares at him, क्यों आ गया ये? उसके लिए एक नरक है. So guests should be welcomed nicely. Even if the host is not happy, but still the host should receive the guest properly. Just like when you have traveled by flight, how the air hostess welcomes the plastic smile. अंदर कुछ भी इतना लेश मात्र भी उसको कुछ भी है नहीं emotion. But still, one time one of our devotee was telling that he was the first in, when he was boarding the flight, and he heard the head air hostess, she's telling the staff, be ready, animals are coming. And इसने सुन लिया ये क्या बोल रही है. So that's how it is. So one should be grateful. So for this Prithu Maharaj is really grateful and anxious because they are not ordinary beings. Just like when Yudhishthir Maharaj, he saw Vidurji coming back, how anxious he was to receive him, as if it is described there also, as if the life air came back in a dying person. That's how he became enlivened. Bhavad Vidaha Bhagavata Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vigo Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantasthe Nagadabhata. Oh, you are great personality, you are pilgrimage place personified. He welcomes so nicely. So that's how just like the senses, they want to come in touch with sense objects. Prithu Maharaj, he went to welcome these 4 Kumaras because it is natural. Etadhi atur chittanam matra sparshechhayamuhu bhavasindhu plavodrishto haricharyanu varnanam. Atur chitta, people in this world, they are anxious. Atur chitta. Etadhi atur chittanam. Why? matra sparsha ichhaya, because they want to enjoy sense objects. That's why they are suffering. There is only one thing which can take one across the ocean of material existence, that is Haricharyanu Varnana. So Prabhupada focuses on this word, Indriyesho Gunan Iva. How a materialistic person naturally gets attracted to sense gratification. Prakriteha kriyamanani gunaiha karmani sarvashaha. Under the influence of modes, everything is working. So Prithu Maharaj here, he is compared to an ordinary conditioned soul. Although he is not a conditioned soul, he is purified personality. So just like conditioned soul is attracted by sense gratification, Prabhupada gives all the examples how the various senses are attracted to various sense objects. Similarly, Prithu Maharaj could not restrain himself from receiving the four Kumaras, who were bright by the dint of their spiritual progress. And thus not only by he himself, but also his officers and associates all received the four Kumaras, because all of them could understand Yatha Raja Tatha Praja. Prithu Maharaj was such a great devotee, so his ministers and his citizens were also very elevated personalities. Birds of same feather flock together. So that's how all of them they got up to welcome these four Kumaras. Okay. Gauravadyantritha sabhyaha prashrayanata kandaraha pujayam chakre
विधिवत् पूजया चक्रे
hanasanam.
हरणासनानि.
When the great sage accepted their reception according to the instructions of the Shastras and finally took their seats offered by the king, influenced by the glories of the sages, immediately bowed down. Thus he worshipped the four Kumaras.
So Gauravad Yantritaha Sabhyaha, under the control of Kumara's greatness. Gaurava means the greatness, the glories. They were such a great personality that Yantrita means actually he is controlled by the greatness of these four Kumaras. What he did? Prashrayanat Kandharaha, with shoulders lowered in humility. ये पहले कहीं आया है? Anyone remembers? Somebody is Prashrayanat Kandhara. Anyone remembers this coming earlier? It has come in the third canto. When Maitreya meets Uddhava and Krishna. Maitreya, he is born with his shoulders lowered. मतलब ऐसे नम्रता में कैसे एकदम ऐसा झुके. So Prithu Maharaj also, he is welcoming with shoulders lowered in humility. Vidhivat Pujaya. Prithu Maharaj worshipped them according to Vidhi, according to the scriptural rules and regulations. And Grihita Adhyarhanasanam. And then after being worshipped by Prithu Maharaj, the great sages, they took their seat. Arahana Asan. Arahana means they were offered paraphernalia for reception and then they took their seats. So Srila Prabhupada, he describes these four Kumaras, they are the spiritual masters of Kumara Sampradaya. And he focuses on this word Vidhi. Vidhivat. Vidhivat means Prithu Maharaj strictly followed the injunctions of the scriptures in receiving the Acharya, Vidhi. So one should not be whimsical in his behavior. One should act according to the scriptural rules and regulations. According to the position a person is in, they should be given respect. Krishneti yasya girita mamanasa driyeta dikshasti chet pranatibhishcha bhajantam isham Shushrusaya bhajana vidyam ananya manya. Nindadi shunya ridi ipsita sangalabdhya. कहाँ पे आया श्लोक? This is nectar of instruction, I think 5th verse. 10th, 7th है? Okay. 5th होगा शायद. So इसमें how to respect, how to welcome and offer respects to 3 types of devotees. Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttam. Krishneti, Yasya Giri. Anyone who speaks Krishna once with faith. मनसा आद्रिय, that means he's a neophyte devotee, मन अच्छी श्रद्धा है but एक बार बोल रहा है, पूरा regular, he is not consistent. मनसा आद्रियता, in the mind respect him. दीक्षा ले लिया है तो भजंतम ईशम निंदा दीक्षा सिचेत प्रणति भिष्य, offer obeisances to that person. And nindadi shunya, if he is a pure devotee free from any fault finding, then shrushaya, serve that personality. So that's how every person should be respected according to the position. Sakala sammane korite shakati deho nata jatha jatha tabeto gaibo harinama sukhe aparadha behata. So unless we learn to offer respects to every individual according to their position, Sakala sammane korite shakati o Gurudev kripa bindu diya. This is by the mercy of Guru only. To worship a person according to his position, it happens only by the mercy of Guru. Otherwise, sometimes we respect somebody more than what they deserve, and sometimes we respect less than what they deserve because of our own conceptions. So that's how we should be worshipping or giving respect to a person according to the position. It comes in the first canto when Krishna entered Dwarka. Different citizens, they welcomed Krishna differently. Those who were younger ones, they offered obeisances. Those who were equal, they met Krishna, they embraced him. And those who were elder, Krishna bowed down to them. In Hastinapur also, Krishna bowed down to Yudhishthir Maharaj, embraced Yudhishthir and Bhima, they were elder. Embraced Arjun and Nakul Sahadev bowed down to Krishna. So that's how Dehonatha Sakala Sammane Karite Shakati Dehonatha Jathajat. So that's how, according to the scriptures, one should know how to respect each and every one. Then Prabhupada writes, whenever an Acharya is seen, one should immediately bow down before him. Ritu Maharaj did this properly. Prashrayanata Kandharaha. Out of humility, he bowed down before the Kumaras. So we should bow down immediately. And Prabhupada has personally trained his disciples in the beginning days. Yaduvar Prabhu, he recalls that in the beginning days when he came, he was a photographer and he started coming and he would not bow down to Prabhupada and everybody is bowing down and he would purposely hold the camera so that he didn't have to bow down. So Prabhupada noted that and he said, why are you not bowing down? He said, Swamiji, I don't feel like bowing down. Prabhupada said, you bow down now, feelings will come later. So, bow down. I should immediately bow down before. So now, what else he did? Tatpada Shaucha Salilai
पादशौच सलिले
Marjitalaka Bandhanaha
मार्जितालकबन्धनः
Tatra Shilavatam Vrittam
तत्र शीलवतां
Acharan Manayanniva.
आचरन्मानयन्निव.
After this, the king took the water which had washed the lotus feet of the Kumaras and sprinkled it over his hair. But by such respectful actions, the king, as an exemplary personality, showed how to receive a spiritually advanced personality.
Apani Achari Prabhush Jivera Shikhaye Mahajano Yenagata Sapantha. Whatever great people do, common people follow. So Prithu Maharaj is showing by his personal example how to respect and worship a great personality. He washed their feet and sprinkled the water on his head. So one should not see a person based on externals. Externals should not determine the level of respect given to a person. Because in devotional service, externals, they don't matter. There is एक और है ना श्लोक उसमें कैसे शुरू होता है वो बुद्बुदुभे दृष्टै स्वभावजनितैर्वपुषश्च दोषैः न प्राकृतत्वं यः भक्तजनस्य पश्येत् गंगां वसां न खलु बुद्बुदफेन पंकैः ब्रह्मा द्रवत्वमपगच्छति नीरधर्मैः. So this verse says drishtai swabhava janitai. When somebody sees the swabhava janite dosha, we see some faults in some devotees, physical appearance. अरे ये तो चाइनीज है, चाइनीज वैष्णव, क्या क्या खा के आया होगा, और ये तो साउथ इंडियन है, ये तो बंगाली है, ये तो ये है. So that is स्वभाव जनित दोष. Drishta स्वभाव जनित वपुषश्च दोषै. One should not see that, because devotional service is beyond all these external bodily conditionings. One should never see the externals. So these four Kumaras, they were looking like 5 years old boy. But there are two types of Vriddha. I think last time also it had come. Jnana Vriddha, Vayo Vriddha. So Vayo Vriddha, even trees are spending thousands of years. They don't deserve that much respect as a person who is Jnana Vriddha. Getting knowledge, becoming more mature in realization is respected. So they are very old. So one should never see a person, a devotee, from external perspective. Arche Vishnu Shiladi Gurushu Narmati Vaishnave Jati Buddhi. These are all Naraki Buddhi. ओ ये तो वैष्णव को जाति बुद्धि, ओ अर्चे विष्णु शिलदी है, बॉडीली ये तो स्टोन है, ओ विष्णु spiritual master, ordinary man. I told this story earlier also. One time a devotee wrote an article and he on Prabhupada, and he said, this man has changed the world. It was a nice article, glorifying Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada called him. He said, how can you call your spiritual master a man? He's not an ordinary man of this world. This is an offense. उसको लगा glorification होगा, गलती पड़ गया उसको. So that's how. If somebody feels Vishnurva Vaishnavanam Kalimal Mathane Paratirthe Ambu Buddhi. If somebody considers the foot wash of Vishnu or Vaishnava ordinary water, that is offensive mentality. So what Prithu Maharaj is doing here? Sprinkling the water on his head. Worshipable. चरणामृत को अगर सोच रहे हैं ये तो ऑर्डिनरी पानी फेंक देते हैं. And if somebody thinks name of the Lord, Sakala Kalushe Shabda Samanya, ये तो ordinary words है, Hare Krishna, Lord Vishnu. No, this is all full hellish mentality. So Prithu Maharaj, he knew the exalted condition, exalted nature of these four Kumaras. Prabhupada writes, it is well known that whatever Sri Chaitanya taught in his life as an acharya, he practiced himself. When he was preaching as a devotee, although he was detected by several great personalities to be incarnation of Krishna, he never agreed to be addressed as incarnation. Even though one may be an incarnation of Krishna or specially empowered by him, he should never advertise that he is an incarnation. Lord Ram never advertised that he is avatar. Lord Krishna also spoke only once or twice in Bhagavad Gita. People will automatically accept the real truth in due course of time. People will understand. So Prithu Maharaj, he was an ideal Vaishnava. He is teaching how to respect the great saintly people. So after washing the lotus feet of these four Kumaras, now he is giving them nice seat. Hatakasana Sinan Swadhishneshwa Pavaka Shraddha Sanyama Sanyukta Rita Praha Bhavagrajan.
Rita Praha Bhavagrajan.
Lord Shiva. And when they were seated on the golden throne, they appeared just like fire blazing on an altar. Maharaj Prithu, out of his great gentleness and respect for them, began to speak with great restraint as follows.
Shraddha Sainyam Sanyuktaha. He started speaking with great faith and Sainyam Sanyuktaha, with great restraint. He used controlled words. He was very controlled in his language. 6th verse. So he made them sit on a golden throne and they were looking like fire. They were very fulgent. So out of great respect, Shraddha Sanyam Sanyukta, out of great respect and out of great gentleness, Preeta, with great love, he started speaking. Praha, Agrajan, Bhavagrajan. Bhavagrajan means they were elder brothers of Lord Shiva. So that's how Lord Shiva appeared, right? Because Brahmaji, he created these 4 Kumaras and gave them first instruction. The greatest personality, firstborn personality of the universe, he gave first instruction to somebody and he said, nahi karenge. So we should not be surprised and dejected. मैंने पहली बार किसी को बोला और उसने सेवा नहीं किया, मेरा कोई वैल्यू नहीं है यहाँ पे। ब्रह्मा जी को भी ना बोल दिया, बताइए पहली बार। First instruction he gave to somebody and they are saying nahi karenge. We will not procreate. So that's why Brahmaji became angry, he controlled himself and then Lord Shiva was born. So they are Bhava Agrajan, they are the elder brothers of Lord Shiva also. So Prabhupada writes about this story and then he says, they wanted to remain brahmacharis throughout the life and be engaged in devotional service. They are called as Naishtik Brahmachari, never to marry. Okay. So now, after welcoming, respecting, washing their feet, giving them nice throne, he started now speaking. So in the next few verses, from 7 to 16, Prithu Maharaj is inquiring these 4 Kumaras. First, he glorifies these 4 Kumaras. Prithura uvacha aho acharitam kim me mangalam mangalayana yasya vo darshanam hyasi
दर्शनं यासि
durdarshanam cha yogibhihi.
दूरदर्शनां च योगिभिः.
Oh, my dear great sages, auspiciousness personified. It is very difficult for even the mystic yogis to see you. Indeed, you are very rarely seen. I do not know what kind of pious activity I perform for you to grace me by appearing before me without difficulty.
Aho, aho means great astonishment. Acharitam kim mein, ऐसा क्या किया मैंने? Aho acharitam kim mein mangalam mangalayana. It is my great fortune that Mangal Ayana, personification of fortune, has come. Mangal Ayana. Your darshan, yasya vo darshanam, your darshan is durdarshanam, for whom cha yogi bhi. Even great yogis don't get your darshan. I don't know what great fortune I have that I am getting your darshan. So he is astonished. Prithu Maharaj is expressing his astonishment. I am really amazed by my fortune. So he is not thinking, I am such a great personality. सब लोग आए हैं मेरे को दर्शन देने के लिए. He is very humble. Just like Prithu Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, when he was cursed and all the sages from all over the universe, they came to meet Prithu Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj. So what Parikshit Maharaj says, Aho vayam dhanyatama nripanam, we are so fortunate that all of you, Mahattamano Grahaniya Sheela, all of you, generally the kingly class are supposed to be at the lotus feet of these Brahmanas. So we are not so great personalities, but you have come to give darshan to such a lowly personality like me. That is Parikshit Maharaj telling to all the sages. And then he says, when Shukdev Goswami comes and gives darshan, So he says, oh, it is so very wonderful that Lord has sent you, because not because I am great. Apite Bhagavan Prita Krishna Pandusut Priya Paitra Susaya Pratyartham Tad Gotra Syata Bandav. Because Pandavas are dear to Krishna, and I am somehow related to Pandavas. So that is my fortune. That's why Krishna has sent you. So that's how it is a fortune to receive you. So whenever some great personality comes and gives darshan, one should be very, very grateful. Just like in the initial days, we are always grateful. If we get service from some seniors, we are very grateful. तो कुछ तो सेवा दे रहे हैं इतने बड़े devotee. But the more we spend time, in due course of time, there are chances that one may become callous when great personalities coming. Indra also became callous. Brihaspati is coming and ये बोल रहे हैं कि ये तो रोज ही आते हैं, इनको क्या खड़े होकर प्रणाम करेंगे. He didn't get up also. And one time Durvasa ने दिया ना गार्लैंड दिया, Durvasa और बृहस्पति ने गार्लैंड दिया था. Durvasa ना, I think, yeah. So Durvasa, once he came and he gave garland to Indra, his own garland. And Indra is, पता नहीं क्या हो गया था उनको उस समय. He thought, क्या garland है, सूखा garland दे रहे मेरे को. He put that garland on Eravat. And Eravat, being elephant, doesn't know. He took that garland and crushed it under his feet. So ultimately, Durvasa only cursed him. So that's how, then we should be very, very careful when some great personality come. All respect should be given to that great personality. We should be grateful, feel fortunate. Prabhupada writes, when something uncommon happens in one's progressive spiritual life, it should be understood to be incurred by Agyat Sukriti. Only by Agyat Sukriti it is possible. Because if we know that we have not done something great to receive this mercy, that means Agyat Sukriti. Some devotee must have prayed for us, or we must have done something in the past life. That's why this has come. So darshan of a devotee of the Lord and darshan of the Lord, it is not ordinary. It is a rare fortune. Darshane pavitra karo ei tumar gun. Gangara parash hoile paschate pavan. Darshane pavitra karo ei tumar gun. Darshan of a pure devotee or advanced devotees, they are very, very purifying and powerful. Similarly, darshan of the Lord is also very powerful. We should never take it for granted. When Dwarkavasis, they see Krishna, after Krishna returns to Mathura, to Dwaraka, after spending a long time in Hastinapur. So Dwarkavasis, they would see Krishna every day. रोज जा रहे हैं, सुधर्मा से निकल के पैलेस जाते हैं, पैलेस से सुधर्मा आते हैं. Every day they are seeing Krishna. But still, nityam nirikshyamananam yadapi dvarakavasam na vitrapyanti drisham shriyo dhamangam Nityam nirikshyamananam, although they are taking darshan of Krishna, nitya, every day. Yadapi dvarakavasam na vitrapyanti, they are never satisfied. So that is how one should be very, very, delighted to have darshan of some great personality. Prabhupada writes, to see personally the Supreme Lord or his pure devotee is not an ordinary incident. When such things happen, they should be understood to be caused by previous pious activity. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmana. Only by some previous punya one can get this wonderful pious chance to worship Krishna or have darshan of Krishna or darshan of devotee of Krishna. That is how it is. So if we are connected to some great personality, we become proud. But Prithu Maharaj is not thinking, I am so great that poor Kumaras apne aap mere ko darshan ke liye aaye. He is thinking, I am so insignificant, it is their greatness. Because if we are proud of our connection with some great personality, then it is a short recipe for disaster. Just like this washerman, when Krishna entered Mathura, He asked for some clothes, and washerman he said, "These clothes belong to Kamsa. Who are you? Ordinary coward boy. Go away." He was proud that मैं किसका servant हूँ? Kamsa का servant हूँ मैं. So he was ultimately destroyed. So that's how Prithu Maharaj is thinking that I am so insignificant. He didn't say अभी अभी भगवान मिल के गए हैं मेरे से. देखो. He is always humble. So he is now expressing his humility. Prabhupada writes, although Prithu Maharaj's life was full of pious activities, he was wondering how his audience with the Kumaras happened. Although Krishna, Lord Vishnu predicted this, you will get darshan of 4 Kumaras. अभी अभी बोल के गए हैं. But he is not thinking, ये तो भगवान बोल के ही गए हैं, इसमें क्या बड़ी बात है, आना ही था इनको. Still he is thinking, I am so fortunate that आप लोग आए. He could not imagine what kind of pious activities he had performed. This is a sign of humility on part of King Prithu, whose life was so full of pious activities that even Lord Vishnu came to see him and predicted that Kumaras would come. So devotee never thinks that he deserves all this. मतलब मैं इतना बड़ा डिवोटी हूँ, ये सब तो होने ही वाला था ना मेरे लाइफ में. मतलब अभी महाराज मुझे नहीं बोलेंगे तो और किसको बोलेंगे बताइए. मैं इतना सेवा कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे इतने सालों से, रोज 64 माला जप कर रहा हूँ. 64 नहीं, whatever. तो नेचुरल है ना, ये तो मेरे को कृपा देने ही वाले हैं, उसमें क्या बड़ी बात है. नो, इफ somebody thinks like this, then gone. सब पूरा उसका भक्ति गया, drains. So one little bit of pride is sufficient to destroy the credits. Of course, the devotional credits are never destroyed, but our access to that credit will be destroyed. We will feel like beggar. No taste in hearing chanting. इतना भक्ति करने के बाद, because proud.
तो लेकिन एक मुझे प्रश्न इधर आता है कि सपोज लिटरली इज गिवन हिज फुल लाइफ ओवर हियर एंड he is totally dedicated. He the devotee.
अच्छा, एक devotee है.
One devotee.
ही मतलब.
The devotee has given full life and he is doing sevas and really is an expert. But at one point in time, suppose he doesn't get what he's doing or he's deserving, what he should feel.
He doesn't get the respect.
Not his.
Fair.
But seva itself has been removed from him and somebody does that seva. That is also may hurt him. Because he is dedicated, fully devoted, and he is sincere also. He is not matlab, very, very serious and sincere.
Yeah, not easy. But
how he should take? Because he is totally given up. यही मेरा मतलब यही है. मेरा सेवा करने का.
Ideally, it is not that I am there at that level, but I have heard, ideally, one should be attached to seva vritti, service attitude, not to a particular seva.
Okay.
जहाँ पे बोलो वहाँ सेवा करेंगे हम. Of course, in due course of time, it is a responsibility of leadership to make sure that a devotee is given seva according to his liking. That is a responsibility of a mature leadership. In the beginning days, of course, for few years, a devotee should do whatever he is told to do. If in the अभी अभी आए हैं और बोलेंगे मुझे ना वो वाला वो जो मतलब वहां पे बैठ के जो बोलते हैं ना वो वाली सेवा अच्छी लगती है. तो उसको लेक्चर देना ही अच्छा लगता है, तो गड़बड़ है कुछ. So for beginning few years, one should be trained to be humble. Humility. ठोक ठोक के उसको सिखाना पड़ता है. To be humble. And then after few years, when he understands the basic principles of devotional service, he is mature devotee, then he should be given some freedom to do what he likes to do also. उसको 50 साल के बाद भी वही सेवा करवा रहे हैं जो उसने डे 1 पे चालू किया था. That is the problem of the authorities. Provided he has good attitude. If the attitude is humble, then it is the responsibility of the leaders to make sure that he should be happy doing his services. Because ultimately, every devotee has a particular way in which he or she wants to serve the Lord. Now, over years of practicing, he understands, he evolves कि मुझे ये सेवा ज़्यादा अच्छी लगती है. It is not that मैं इतना अच्छा हूँ ना इसमें तो मुझे यही वाला करना है, but I like to do these services. So it is actually a fortune to understand what we like to do and what we are competent doing at. उसको बोलते हैं स्वभाव और साइको फिजिकल नेचर. वो समझना ही सबसे बड़ा डिस्कवरी है. मुझे क्या अच्छा लगता है और मैं क्या अच्छे से कर सकता हूँ. बिकॉज ये दो अलग अलग चीजें हो सकती हैं कभी कभी. जो मैं अच्छे से कर सकता हूँ वो मुझे अच्छा लगेगा वैसा जरूरी नहीं है.
ऐसा भी है.
ऐसा भी होता है, उसमें भी बोल सकते हैं. सो जस्ट लाइक आई एम गुड इन ड्राइंग, बट मुझे वो अच्छा लगता नहीं है इतना. सेवा होगी तो मैं करूंगा, दैट इज नॉट माई स्वभाव. सो everybody has to understand what is their psychophysical nature. वो समझ लिया ना तो जीवन शांत हो जाता है. Otherwise we just keep running after somebody. क्योंकि इनको नाम मिल रहा है यहाँ पे, he is glorified in the devotee association for this, तो मैं भी वैसे बनता हूँ. भाई आपका है क्या ओपन? नहीं, फिर भी वैसे ही बनना है. You will be frustrated in life. So that's how it is responsibility of the leadership and the devotee कि भाई मुझे ये अच्छा लगता है और ये करना मैं अच्छे से कर सकता हूँ. So और अगर if there is a need, you are good at something and you like to do also, but now the need is यहाँ पे सेवा की जरूरत है और कोई भी नहीं. मैं तो नहीं करूँगा, मैंने तो 30 साल बिताए इधर और मुझे तो ये अच्छा लगता है. अरे यहाँ पे जरूरत है, then his surrender is tested. Of course, I may also be tested for speaking this. But at some point of time, मतलब कभी ना कभी तो ऐसा होता ही है. आपको जो अच्छा लगता है
वही मिलेगा जरूरी
वो नहीं मिलेगा, क्योंकि we are in institution. And above all, Krishna is working on every devotee how to purify the attitude, how to purify the ego, how to push them to surrender. Surrender कर, तेरे को अच्छा लगता है लेकिन अभी ये कर रहे हैं के लिए रेडी होगा क्या? उसको ही तो शरणागति बोलते हैं ना. So there are many aspects of this question. बहुत कुछ है उसमें.
तो वो आपको मतलब by following that process you will come to know.
Yes. If we are sincere and prayerful, then Krishna will inspire a devotee from within to surrender or to express. When to express कि नहीं होगा ये मेरे से, और ठीक है आप जो बोलो, मारो भी राखो भी जो इच्छा तो हार.
Surrender, express and adjust.
चलो हाँ थोड़ा भी एडजस्ट भी कर लेंगे, जस्ट थोड़ा सा ही कर लेते हैं, थोड़ा पूरा तो नहीं कर पाएंगे, थोड़ा कर लेंगे. So that is every devotee's individual call. Okay, so he continues, Prithu Maharaj continues. So after expressing his humility, so he is continuing to express his humility. And then in the next verse, he expresses the glory of the mercy of the Lord. Kim tasya durlabhataram yaloke paratra cha yasya vipra prasidanti Vivo Vishnushya Sanugaha.
Any person upon whom the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are pleased can achieve anything which is very rare to obtain in this world as well as after death. Not only that, but one also receives the favor of the auspicious Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu to accompany the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas.
Kim tasya durlabhataram. Are what is difficult to achieve for that person in this world and in other worlds? Ihaloka paratracha. In this life and after death. So anyone Anyone who is mentioned in this? जो पिछले श्लोक में हुआ है. Anyone who receives the mercy of Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, for them nothing is difficult to achieve in this world, in the next world. And on that person, even Shiva and Vishnu is merciful. Anyone who receives the mercy of the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, they automatically receive the mercy of Lord Shiva and Vishnu also. Prabhupada writes, the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are bearers of Lord Vishnu, all auspicious, bearers of Lord Vishnu. The devotees, out of their extreme love for Govinda, always carry the Lord within their hearts. Lord is already in everyone's heart, but Vaishnavas and Brahmanas can actually perceive him and see him. Premanjana Churita. So Lord is always with the devotees, Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, and they can perceive the Lord. So Ritu Maharaj is expressing his humility and his dependence on the mercy of the Vaishnavas, and he is telling anyone who receives the mercy of Vaishnavas, they can receive mercy of the Lord, and by the mercy of the Lord they can get anything in this world. So that is a privilege, to see the Lord, to see the devotees of the Lord, to get their mercy. It is a special privilege. It is not an ordinary thing to receive mercy of the Lord. Prabhupada writes, the four Kumaras and Brahmanas, the four Kumaras are Brahmanas and they visited the place of Prithu Maharaj. Naturally, Lord Vishnu and his devotees were also present under the circumstances. The conclusion is that when Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are pleased with a person, Lord Vishnu is also pleased. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. So it is a privilege to receive mercy of the Lord. It is a privilege to receive mercy of the devotees. When Akrurji he was sent to get Krishna, he was thinking, wow, I am so fortunate that today I will get darshan of the Supreme Personality of Lord. Mayevam mama dhamasyapi syatevachyuta darshana riyamana kalanatya kvachit tarati kaschana. I am so fallen, insignificant, adham. अच्युत दर्शन, अरे भगवान का दर्शन होगा क्यों? By some inconceivable will of providence. Just like in the course of time, two straws in a river, they come together. Riyamana Kala Nadya. Kal ke prabhav se, what happens? The straws in the ocean come together, a river, and then they get separated. Similarly, somehow I have received this fortune, although I am not qualified. I am so unfortunate. I am associating with Kamsa, but still, it is mercy of the Lord. Just like when Rup Sanatan they meet Mahaprabhu, they also express the same humility. Baman oiche chand dharite chahe kare oiche vancha more uthay antare. What is a vancha? What is a desire? Please give mercy. Although niche jati, niche sangi, kori niche kaj, tomara agrete prabhu kahite vasilaj. Are we are so fallen, insignificant. We are ashamed to stand in front of you. But oh my Lord, please give mercy. Because you are Patita Pavan and we are most fallen. Patita Pavan Naam will be fulfilled if you show mercy to us. So devotee always feels unqualified, that I am so insignificant, I am so fallen, I don't deserve the mercy. It is a privilege given to him. That is the difference between mercy. Mercy means I don't deserve it. And if we think that I deserved it, then it is not mercy. Mercy means I don't deserve it. So it is given to me. So Prithu Maharaj is not taking these four Kumaras for granted. Now, Prithu Maharaj describes how difficult it is for ordinary people to have your darshan. It is not so easy to have your darshan. Naiva lakshayate loko lokan paredatopiyan na sarvadrisham sarva atmanam yasya hetavaha.
Ritu Maharaj continued, although you are traveling in all planetary systems, people cannot know you just as they cannot know the super soul. Although he is within everyone's heart as the witness of everything, even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva cannot understand the super soul.
Oh,
Neva Lakshate, people do not see you. Lokan Pareta, although you keep traveling all over the world, but people can't see you. Yatha, just like Sarva Drisham Sarva, just like all the people, even Brahma and other creators of the universe, Atmanam Yasya Hitava, they don't see the Paramatma. For them also it is difficult to witness the Lord. So it is not so easy to have darshan of the great devotees and the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada writes, Muhyanti Yat Surya. The Lord is bewildering even Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Chandra. It so happened that when Krishna was there on this planet, King Indra and Lord Brahma also mistook him. They also started thinking it ordinary है वाचालम बालिशम स्तब्धम अज्ञम पंडित मानिनम ये तो पंडित है अपने आप को पंडित समझ रहा है कृष्णम मर्त्यम उपाश्रित ये चक्रु देवहेलना they have taken shelter of this small impudent boy and they are defying my superiority. That is Indra. So it is not so easy to understand Krishna and to understand the great devotees of the Lord. When Sanatan Goswami, he escaped from the prison and he reached Varanasi. That time Mahaprabhu was in the house of Chandrasekhar Acharya. He tells Chandrasekhar, is there, go and see if there is some Vaishnava standing. He goes out and sees Sanatan Goswami, says, no Vaishnava is there. Somebody is there, Darvesh is there. Because he had big beard. So that whoever it is, come bring him in. So it is not so easy to understand the Supreme Lord and recognize a great devotee of the Lord. It is rare. Prabhupada writes, Prabhupada quotes this example. When Sanatan Goswami went to see Lord Chaitanya, he could not be recognized by Chandrasekhar. The conclusion is that the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart and his pure devotees, Vaishnavas, are traveling all over the world. But those who are under the modes of nature cannot understand the Supreme Lord or Vaishnavas. Vaishnavira Kriya Mudra Vigyehana Bujhai. One cannot see the Supreme Lord or Vaishnava with material eyes. Drishtai Swabhava Janitai, the same words Prabhupada is paraphrasing here. One has to purify his senses and engage in service of the Lord. Lord is Adhokshaja. कौन सा श्लोक है अधोक्षज यस्य हरिर्दास्य कर्मणा मनसा गिरा निखिला शास्त्र जी नहीं यस्यास्ति भक्ति नहीं अधोक्षज है ना सेवन मुखे जिह्वा लो कैसे शुरू होता है नहीं अतः श्री कृष्ण नाम
भगवती भक्ति
उसमें नहीं है एक अधोक्षज वाला आता है उसमें उसी में नैनोडी का आई एम नॉट रिमेंबरिंग दैट एनीवेज So Lord cannot be perceived by mundane senses. He can be perceived by a purified senses. सवे पुंसाम परवधन उसमें आता है वो वाला श्लोक एक मेरे को anyways. Okay, so now after this he describes, Rutu Maharaj says, the fortunate householders are those, even if they are poor, they get a chance to welcome saintly people. अधनापि ते धन्या साधवो गृहमेधिनः यद्गृहाहि अर्ह वर्याम्बो प्रणमोमि परावरः.
Person who is not very rich and is attached to family life becomes highly glorified when saintly persons are present in his home. The master and servants who are engaged in offering the exalted visitor's water, a sitting place, and paraphernalia for reception are glorified, and the home itself is also glorified.
सवय पुंसाम परो धर्मो ये तो भक्ति वही श्लोक बोला आपने भी
so
उसमें आता है by practice serving the Dhokshaja Lord. Okay, yes. Okay, so this verse says, Adhana api, even if they are not very rich. So these householders, although they are not rich, but they are glorious when they receive the saintly people. Sadhavo Grihamedhi. Grihamedhi. Actually, Grihamedhi is not a condemned term. We generally use this as Grihamedhi means those who are attached. In Ramayana, Lord Ram is also described as Grihamedhi one place. So Grihamedhi is a general term because anywhere Griha is there, the intelligence is used to maintain that Griha. But if there is excess attachment, then it becomes wrong. Just like Prajalpa. Prajalpa is not a bad term. It is one type of jalpa. It is one type of talking. When Radharani is talking to that bumblebee, 9 types of talks are given. Jalpa, Sanjalpa, Uchalpa, Prajalpa, usme saath hai. So Prajalpa has taken a negative connotation in ISKCON. So Grihamedhi, here a person who is a householder, he is highly glorified when sadhava, when the saintly people come to their home, they welcome them nicely. How to receive guests? That is very important. Chakravarti Thakur writes nice few lines. They should offer at least water if food is not available. पहले तो food देना चाहिए. Food नहीं है, at least water. Okay, पानी भी नहीं है. If water is not available, they should offer grass to sit on. At least आसन तो दीजिए. आसन भी नहीं. They should clean the earth and offer them a seat. That is also not possible. Then what to do? They offer themselves by saying kind words and folding hands. If they cannot do even that, at least they should tell their sons and wives, "Aap jao pranam kar lo." Somehow or other, they should welcome the guests. So Prabhupada writes in the purport. Materially, if a man is not very rich, he is not glorious. Spiritually, if a man is too attached to family life, he is not glorious. But saintly persons are quite ready to visit the house of a poor man or a man who is attached to family life. Because when this happens, the owner of house and his servants are glorified because they are given a chance to welcome these great saintly personalities and they are getting purified. Esam samsparanat pumsam sadyo shuddhanti vai grihat kim punar darshan sparsha pada shauchasanadibhi. Parikshit Maharaj is telling, just by remembering great personalities like you, the entire house, oneself and entire family is purified. Sadyo shuddhanti vai grihat. What to speak of if somebody darshan gets darshan? Just by smarana this happens. Remember a pure devotee and get purified. That is the power of pure devotee. Darshan, sparsha, touching the lotus feet, washing the lotus feet, that is all the more glorious. Conclusion is that if a saintly person goes to a house of anyone unimportant man, such a person becomes glorious by his blessings. So Prabhupada writes how this is current, this is still working in India. If any householder sees a saintly person, they welcome them and they give them nice reception. So that is a fortunate person. Fortunate person is not a person who has wealth of the world. Fortunate person is a person who has wealth of the blessings of the saintly people. That person is fortunate. Prabhupada writes the same purport. He says, first one should offer some food. वो भी नहीं है. Drinking water, that is also not there. Sitting place, that is also not there. At least clean the ground. And if that is also not possible, at least speak good words. Welcome to Bolo. If he cannot do that also, he should feel very sorry for his poor condition and shed tears and simply offer obeisances. If you can't even speak properly, just offer obeisances. And who are these unfortunate householders? Now, this is fortunate householder who gives respect. So, unfortunate householders they are compared to a tree where the venomous serpents live. Vyalalaya Drumadvaiteshva Arikta Akhila Sampadaha Yadgrihastirthapadiyya
यद्गृहस्थितपादीय
Padatirtha Vivarjita.
पादतीर्थविवर्जिता. Hare Krishna. On the contrary, even though full of all of material prosperity, any householder's house where the devotees of the Lord are never allowed to come in, and where there is no water for washing their feet, it is to be considered a tree in which all venomous serpents live. Hare Krishna.
The serpents live in those homes. What are these serpents? All the family member are the serpents. Because the serpents don't allow anybody to enter their house, their holes. They'll bite at them. They will bite them. So all these unfortunate people, if they're not allowing saintly people to come to their house, Prabhupada would talk about the notice at the gates. Previous times, क्या होता था?
Beware of dog.
नहीं previous पहले होता था अतिथि देवो भव. फिर आया सुस्वागतम. अभी होता है beware of dogs. Trespassers will be prosecuted. So that's how this is the position of demoniac householders. Their houses are like trees where snakes live. In one other place in Bhagavatam it is described, if Krishna is not in the center of the house is like a prison house. And the attachments are like the shackles which bind a person. Tavad ragadayastena tavat kara griham griham. Yavan mohungari nigro yavan Krishna na tejana. If Krishna is not in center, then rag adaya, all these attachments, they are like the thieves. They steal away the property. And kara griham griham, their griha is kara griha, not griha with car. Their griha is kara griha. And mohongri nigado, moha, all the attachments they have they are like shackles. So that's how these are unfortunate householders. So Prabhupada writes, there are two types of living entities. Okay, before that, Prabhupada focuses on this word, Tirthpadiya. Tirthpadiya indicates devotees of Lord Vishnu or Vaishnavas. As far as Brahmanas are concerned, in the previous verse, the mode of reception has been described. Now, in this verse, special stress is given to Vaishnavas. How to welcome Vaishnavas. And especially sannyasis. Generally, sannyasis, they take trouble to enlighten the householders. Prabhupada talks about Ekdandi and Tridandi sannyasi. Vaishnavas know that the absolute truth is the person and Brahman effulgence is based on the supreme person. Brahmano hi pratishtha. So these great personalities, the saintly people, they travel and they purify a place. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani. So that is the role of Vaishnavas and Vaishnava sannyasis and the great devotees. And if the Vaishnavas are not welcomed properly, the homes in which they are not welcomed, they are like the holes where snakes live. Prabhupada writes, sandalwood is very cold, and venomous serpents, because of their poisonous teeth, are always very warm, and they take shelter of the sandalwood trees to become cooler. Similarly, there are many rich men who keep watchdogs and doormen and put signs that say, do not enter. Trespassers are not allowed. Beware of dog. Sometimes in Western countries, a trespasser is shot. This is all position of demoniac householders. So these are like snakes. Chanakya Pandit says there are two types of envious people. क्या संस्कृत है उसका एक अच्छा बोलते हैं सर्प क्रूर खलक क्रूर. The snake is envious and snake. There are two types of envious people, the snake and the envious man. But who is more dangerous? Snake or envious man?
Envious man.
Envious man is more dangerous. Why? Why more dangerous? आपने बोला बताना पड़ेगा.
Because even if that man doesn't bite, the poison will be spread.
Prabhupada is answering. Snake can be subdued by chanting mantras or herbs, but an envious person cannot be pacified by any means. Sarpa krura khalak krura. ऐसा श्लोक है. If somebody can Google it, मिल जाएगा आपको. So these envious householders, they are like the snakes. मिलेगा तो बताइए. So now, he is glorifying these great personalities as strict brahmacharis. In the next.
Sarpa krura khala krura sarvat kartarah khala.
Hmm.
Sarpa shapyati mantrena durjane.
Sarva.
Shapyati mantrena durjane.
So mantra can pacify the snakes. Sarpa kruraha. सर्पः शाम्यति मंत्रेण दुर्जना नैव शाम्यति. अच्छा.
किसी भी तरह से नहीं.
अच्छा एक दूसरा में इसमें यहाँ पे नैव लिखा है. ठीक है. एनीवेज अच्छा केन न शाम्यति अलग अलग वर्ड में अलग अलग. दुर्जन कभी भी शांत नहीं हो सकता है किसी भी तरह से. केन न शाम्यति. सर्प क्रूर खल क्रूर सर्पात क्रूरतः खल क्रूरतर खल. अच्छा. Okay. Now he is welcoming these brahmanas. Swagatam no duja sreshta. Yad pratani mumukshavaha. Taranti pratmaya dhira. Bala eva brihanti cha.
Maharaj Prithu offered his welcome to the four Kumaras, addressing them as the best of Brahmanas. He welcomed them, saying, "From the beginning of your birth, you strictly observed the vows of celibacy. Although you are experienced in the path of liberation, you are keeping yourself just like a small child."
Swagatam no duja sreshta. So, welcome all these great, all of you great personalities, best of the Brahmanas, duja sreshta. Welcome. Yad vratani mumukshavaha. You have, from the beginning of your birth, you have practiced the vows of celibacy. Charanti shraddhaya dhira. You have practiced this vow of celibacy dhira. For what? Mumukshavaha. And you are experienced in the path of liberation. You are best celibates. You are experienced in liberation, in the path of liberation. Bala eva brihanti. Although you keep yourself just like children, you are not ordinary children. You are all powerful personalities. Just like Shukadeva Goswami is also described similarly in the first canto. When he entered, he was looking like a madman, and Gudha Gudho Mudha Iveyate. He was looking as if he was a madman. But he was absorbed in Brahman. He was completely self-realized, liberated being. But because he was not dressed properly, he was looking as if he was a madman. So all these four Kumaras, although they were best of the Brahmanas, but they were looking as if they are 5 years old children, small children. Prabhupada describes about the importance of controlling the senses. Kumaras, they remained children because they knew that when they would grow up, they would be disturbed by sex desire. So they decided to remain as small boys. And they became such great personalities, the founder acharyas of Kumara Sampradaya and Nimbaraka Sampradaya. So they are Dvijasreshta. Okay. Then he continues. Kachinna kushalam natha indriyarthartha vedina
Indriyaर्थार्थवेदिनां
व्यसनामापरे तस्मिन्
व्यसनापापरेऽस्मिन्
पतितानां स्वकर्मभिः
पतितानां स्वकर्मभिः.
Prithu Maharaj inquired from the sages about persons entangled in this dangerous material existence because of their previous actions. Could such persons, whose only aim is sense gratification, be blessed with any good fortune?
Kachinna kushalam natha. So now he's inquiring. So he inquired about the great fortune. Is there a hope for fallen people engaged in this dangerous material existence? Kachinna kushalam. Is there any way people who are engrossed in this material world can become freed? Because their aim is indriyarthartha vedinam. Vedinam, their only aim is sense gratification. So, is there a hope for such people? Because of this desire to enjoy, patitanam swakarmabhi, they are fallen in samsara. And this samsara only creates misery and suffering. So, when somebody meets great personalities, they don't ask, how are you? They ask, how am I? You tell me, how am I? How am I doing? Because you are absorbed in Brahman, you are already liberated being. So what is the need of asking, how are you? You tell me, how am I? Because I am entangled in this dangerous material existence. So can you tell me there is some hope for me? Is there some hope for me? So Prabhupada writes, Maharaj Prithu did not ask Kumaras about their fortune. How are you? He didn't ask them. Because Kumaras are always auspicious. Because they are always liberated beings, celibate Brahmanas, Dvijasreshta, Mumukshavaha. How can there be no auspiciousness for such people? Since they are always engaged in path of liberation, there is no question of ill fortune. In other words, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas who are strictly following the path of spiritual advancement are always fortunate. इतना ऐसा बड़ा बड़ा पढ़ते हैं हम लोग, सच में लगता है कैसा? Always fortunate. Whatever situation of life we may be in, fortunate. But that is the fact. The more we realize this, the more we will advance. So whatever happens in the life of a devotee, that is fortunate. Sometimes fortune may come in, the way which we can't appreciate. But the devotee is always fortunate. Because anyone on the path of spiritual advancement is always fortunate. Nahiyato anya shiva pantha vishata samsrita viha vasudeve bhagavati bhakti yogo yato bhave. There is no auspicious path than this path of bhakti. That's why bhakti is called as Shubhada. हाँ वो तो happy path है. शुभ है, शुभ. It is all शुभ.
Auspicious.
It is nothing inauspicious auspicious in the path of bhakti. It is all blissful, auspicious, and the fortune. The question was asked by Prithu Maharaj for his own sake. मैं कैसा हूँ? How will I be delivered? Can you please tell me? That's what Sanatana Goswami asks Mahaprabhu. Ke ami? He didn't ask, who are you? He said, who am I? Why I am suffering? He was in the position of Grihastha and in charge of royal authority. And naturally, the kings are attached to sense gratification and they kill. So he's asking, so many inauspicious things are in my life. Can you please tell me, how will I become auspicious? Prabhupada writes how the Kshatriyas, sometimes they engage in sinful activities, gambling, intoxication, meat eating. But sometimes they are allowed for Kshatriyas because of their Rajoguni nature. They are allowed to do this. But it is anytime sinful. He tells about Yudhishthir Maharaj and engaging in gambling. So Prithu Maharaj, considering all these facts, inquired whether there is any auspicious path. Grihastha life is inauspicious because Grihastha means consciousness of sense gratification. So now here Grihastha is also Prabhupada is translating as the person is attached. So the context always matters. Context is different in many places. So Prabhupada writes, in this world there is danger at every step. So only way one can come out of this dangerous existence is practicing Krishna consciousness, because a person is fallen in the deep dark well by his own activities. Swakarma bhi patita naam. Swakarma bhi किसने गिराया हमको इधर? हम खुद ही गिरे हैं. Somebody is holding on to a tree and says, leave me, leave me, leave me. अपना हाल वैसा है. अपना कर्म भुंजाए शमन. अपना कर्म दोषे अपनी डूबिनु. हमने अपनी नाव खुद ही डुबाई है. तो अभी किसको बोलेंगे? Prabhupada gives an example. If somebody bites his own tongue, whom he will blame? किसको गाली देंगे? So we have whatever is happening to us, it is because of our own actions. So that's how when Parikshit Maharaj meets this Dharma bull, and he is beaten, and Dharma bull 3 legs are broken, and this Kali Purush is standing. Naturally, it is seen that इसी ने मारा है. And Parikshit asks, who is the culprit? क्या बोलते हैं Dharma bull?
Some say the
बोले पता नहीं कौन किया है. पता नहीं. अरे ये सामने खड़ा है, बोलो ना सीधा सीधा. मैं I'll take care of him, don't worry. Said, I don't know. I can't blame anyone. Some say this, some say this, some say this. ये आप डिसाइड कर लो. बोले आप ही डिसाइड करो अभी किसने किया है. So that's how a devotee is. He understands. अपनी कर्म भुंजाए शमन. Whatever happens in the life of a devotee, he takes it as mercy. तत्यनुकंपा. मतलब बोलते तो बहुत है ना हम लोग, ये सब इतना हर बार बोल देते हैं ना, तत्यनुकंपा तत्यनुकंपा. एप्लीकेशन पे तो मतलब हालत खराब हो जाता है इसमें.
वाचावीर. वाचावीर
वो क्या होता है?
बोलने में माहिर. वाचावीर.
अच्छा वाचावीर. अच्छा. बोलने में तो सब मतलब इस्कॉन में आके बोलने तो सीख गए हम लोग, एक तो है, बट एप्लीकेशन अभी बहुत दूर की बात हो जाती है. There is no dearth of information, there is lack of application
and realization.
तो realization तो उसके आगे की बात है. एप्लीकेशन के बाद realization. Not transformation कुछ नहीं होता है. तो उसमें काम करना है भी हमको. ठीक है, कभी तो होगा. कब होगा? जब हम प्रार्थना करेंगे भगवान से. When we are intense in our prayers, then Lord will put us in a situation where we will be forced to apply what we have spoken so far. एक बार एक व्यक्ति जाता है गुरुजी के पास. He was also a preacher. So he was in difficult situation. He went to his teacher and he said, Guru Maharaj, कुछ solution बताओ. So गुरु बोलते हैं, तुमको उपदेशों का पालन करना पड़ेगा. कौन से उपदेश गुरु महाराज? जो तुम दूसरों को देते हो. जब तक हम उपदेश देते रहेंगे तब तक गड़बड़ होता रहेगा. इसीलिए थोड़ा सोच समझ के भी उपदेश देना चाहिए. एक बार अभी कुछ दिन पहले वो अमरेंद्र प्रभु का वीडियो क्लिप घूम रहा था.
क्या?
अमरेंद्र प्रभु is saying in that if we are speaking beyond our realization, it is an offense. We will be tested for it. होगा ना, टेस्टिंग तो होगा ही अपना. If somebody speaks एकदम ऐसा बड़ा ऐसा ठोक के, you should not do sense gratification. I will do. तो भगवान भगवान भी सीरियसली लेंगे ना, फिर वही बोलेंगे ठीक है भाई, बोल तो रहे हो, ठीक है कोई बात नहीं, आपको भी हम टेस्ट करेंगे। तो हुआ है क्या आप लोग, किसी के साथ ऐसा हुआ है? बोलने के बाद फिर टेस्ट आता है, जो बोला है फिर उसको अप्लाई करने का समय आता है।
ज्यादा बोलते नहीं।
उतना ही बोलना चाहिए जितना
आप लोग कर रहे हैं,
हाँ।
एटलीस्ट उसका भी 90% बोलो तो।
और उसका भी, if you are speaking something which you are not doing, you should at least quote who has said that.
हाँ वो एक तो ठीक
नहीं तो आपने बोल दिया और सामने वाले को लगा प्रभु जी सच अ ग्रेट एडवांस्ड डिवोटी, इतने रियलाइज्ड वर्ड्स बोल रहे हैं, उनको नहीं मालूम ये रियलाइजेशन नहीं है, ये कॉपी पेस्ट चल रहा है। One devotee, one of our very senior devotees in that Muralidhar Pro congregation devotee, he was telling once that most of the things we speak in our classes, that they are borrowed realizations. उधार में लिया हुआ इनसे सुना इनसे सुना इनसे सुना, और हम तो भेल बनाने में एक्सपर्ट है, ये वाला इधर थोड़ा सा मसाला और इधर ये, और अपना थोड़ा सा उसमें से के डाल दिया, और अरे क्या भेल खिलाया प्रभु जी, इट वाज वंडरफुल क्लास। तो ऐसा बोल देते हैं, बट वी हैव टू वर्क ऑन इट। वो उधार में लिया हुआ है ना, वी आर इन डेट, जैसे लोन है वो हमारे ऊपर, वो लोन चुकता कब होगा? व्हेन वी स्टार्ट अप्लाइंग इट, अदरवाइज विल ऑलवेज रिमेन डेटर ओनली, वो अपना कभी होगा ही नहीं। दोस रियलाइजेशंस विल नेवर बिकम आवर रियलाइजेशंस, बोलते रहेंगे नहीं ऐसा नहीं होगा, इट विल नॉट हैपन ऑटोमेटिकली, वी हैव टू कॉन्शियसली डू इट। कॉन्शियसली नहीं करेंगे तो फिर भगवान है ना, फिर भगवान फिर अच्छे से प्यूरिफाई करते हैं, फिर he'll place us in a situation where we'll be forced, and that will come also when we go to some devotee and ask भाई करना क्या है बताइए, मैंने लेक्चर तो बहुत दिया है इस पे, अभी माइंड कंट्रोल पे लेक्चर देख के आओ, मेरा माइंड इतना घूम रहा है अभी अब क्या करूं बता वो ऐसा किसी के साथ लेक्चर देखे आए और हालत खराब हो रहा है अभी।
अरे उसका सामने ही खड़ा हो जाता है, हम लोग बोलेंगे कुछ, वही सिचुएशन हमारे सामने आ जाता है।
Krishna takes us seriously. We don't take ourselves seriously. Krishna takes us seriously.
For those who are sincere, that on that moment Krishna will guide and help them. He will guide internally and
Yes, Lord is always guiding us. वो गाइड करते हैं परमात्मा के रूप में and devotees and guru के रूप में। Okay, then Prithu Maharaj continues. He says, कहाँ पे थे? हाँ, 14th. So now Prithu Maharaj is not asking about the welfare of his guests. He is inquiring about his own welfare. How am I? Why? Because asking a saintly person is not a good thing. And how can I ask a saintly person, how are you? Because you are a great personalities. Bhavatsu kushalam prashna atma rameshu neshyate kushala kushala yatra nasanti vrittayaha.
Prithu Maharaj continued. My dear sirs, there is no need to ask about your good and bad fortune because you are always absorbed in spiritual bliss. The mental concoction of the auspicious and inauspicious does not exist in you. Hare Krishna.
Bhavatsu kushala prashna, there is no need to ask about your good fortune. रीजन बता रहे, क्यों नहीं पूछ रहे हैं? somebody ने आ रहे हैं, हम आए आपके घर पे, और वो पूछना चाहिए ना कि how are you? Why are you not asking how are you? Atma Ram, your Atma Ram, you're always absorbed in bliss. So for you, this question of kushala does not exist only. Na ishyate. It does not exist for you. Kushala, akushala, because you don't have material conception of life. Therefore, you have no wrong or good in your life. Good and bad arises in the person because he thinks this is mine and this is not mine. That is world of duality. Duality means ye mera hai, ye mera nahi hai. Good, bad, happiness, distress, cold, heat. These are all dualities of the world. But for Atmaram, they don't register this duality. Prabhupada quotes this verse. Dvaite bhadra bhadra jnana sab mano dharma ei bhalo ei manda ei sab bhram. What is illusion? Oh, this is auspicious. This is inauspicious. Ei bhalo ei manda. It is all coming from mental concoctions. ये मेरा है, ये मेरा नहीं है, ये अच्छा है, ये बुरा है. These are all coming from mental conceptions because I like this. Oh, I like this, I want this. Oh, I don't like this, I reject this. That is called as Prakrite Kriyamahani Gune Karmani Sarvasha Ankar Vimuratma Karta. He thinks I am the doer. He starts working for something which he likes. He starts rejecting things which he doesn't like. Raga and Dvesha. This goes on. Raga and Dvesha. I like this. I don't like this. Prabhupada writes, we think ourselves created by material nature exactly as we think ourselves experiencing so many things in a dream. This is a very common example in Bhagavatam. कहाँ पे आया ये अभी तक? ड्रीम वाला एग्जाम्पल दो जगह तो आया है. In the second canto, 8th chapter, Parikshit Maharaj asks a question. How can there be a relation between matter and spirit? Because body is matter and spirit is Satchidananda. Relation कैसे हो गया? Shukdev Goswami says question is wrong. There is no relation. It is only dream. So there also the example of dream is described. Then in the third canto, Maitreya and Vidurji asks the same question about how one is experiencing problems in this material world. Soul is Satchidananda. The example is given of a person, he is seeing his own head being cut off. That is dream. So that is how this dream is a very common example. That's why Mahaprabhu comes and says, Jiva jago. Jiva jago, Gaura Chandra bole. But Maya Devi ऐसी उठने नहीं देती है, सुला के रखती है. She keeps beating us also and she says, ज़्यादा नहीं लगना, sleep nicely. जीव जागो. वो प्रभुपाद का एक और पहले किसी तो वेकिंग अप का अलार्म भी वैसा रहता है. क्या वो रास्कल गेट अप when you listen. प्रभुपाद का कुछ लोग ला के रखते हैं. मतलब उठते उठते ये गाली के साथ उठते हैं. प्रभुपाद ने गाली दिया उठो. Prabhupada writes, Sangat sanjayate kamaha. By association one develops desire. And the more you contemplate on something, you develop a desire. We forget about our constitutional position. Jivera Swarup Hoy, we forget that we are part and parcel of the Lord. And as soon as the concoctions of material enjoyment is there, because of our association, we create a sort of lust. I want this. The more we are materially contaminated, the more we try to get the material things. And if we are not getting this, then we become angry. Then ultimately, vinashyati, pranashyati, Prabhupada writes that whole sequence. So the liberated beings, because they don't have any material desires, they don't go through this whole sequence of fall down, because it all starts with desire. When you have material conditionings, you will contemplate on something. And then you will develop a desire to get that. So you are already liberated. You don't have this dual mentality. So there is no need to ask for your fortune. Chakravarti Thakur writes, one should ask how the guest is feeling. No, it is not necessary for them. Because you are always liberated, there is no inauspiciousness in your life. Therefore, I am asking for my own welfare. How am I? I am not asking how are you. I am asking how am I. So therefore, I am asking this question. Tadaham krita vishrambhaha. सुहृदो तपस्विनां संपृच्छे भव एतस्मिन् क्षेमकेनाञ्जसा भवेत्.
I am completely assured that personalities like you are the only friends for persons who are blazing in the fire of material existence. I therefore ask you, how is this material world we can very soon achieve the ultimate goal of life?
Tad aham krit vishrambaha. I am completely assured that Surido vah tapasvinam, personalities like you are Surida. They are the best friends, well-wishers for people who are burning in this forest of blazing fire of material existence. Sampriche, therefore, I ask you, bhava etasmin, in this world, what I am asking you, bhava etasmin, in this world, shema kena anjasa. अंजसा सिंपल से जो मिलेगा वैसा बताइए. I want simple way. Don't tell me the difficult path. सिंपल वाला बताइए. ये बहुत 2-3 बार आया है पहले. पूछते हैं आप सिंपल वाला बताइए, मेरे हिसाब से जो होगा वो बताइए. शौनकादि ऋषि भी वही बोलते हैं सुद गोस्वामी को, भाई सिंपल वाला बताइए, अपने वाला, सब कुछ मत बताओ हमको. That's how Bhagavatam started. They asked Sud Goswami, आप तो सब कुछ जानते हैं, सब कुछ मत बताओ, हमारे लिए जो उतना बताओ. That's how he's asking. Don't tell me everything. Don't tell me the difficult path. Tell me how can I achieve this anjasa. Quickly. जल्दी चाहिए, फटाफट चाहिए, जल्दी जो मिलेगा वो बताओ. क्रैश कोर्स. क्रैश कोर्स आजकल का नहीं, पहले से चल रहा है, सत्युग से ऐसा ही है. क्रैश कोर्स चाहिए सबको. बोलो ना कि अंजसा भवेत. I ask you how in this material world we can very soon achieve. मतलब हम भी ऐसा लाइन में, हम we are in परंपरा. हमको भी क्विकली चाहिए भाई, ऐसा भी जल्दी लंबा वाला ऐसा घुमा के मत बताइए, सीधा सीधा जो होगा वो बताइए. Saintly people, they go door to door because to see those who are materially engrossed. So in the first canto also it is described that Shukdev Goswami would stay go dohanam matram hi. Only for the time the cow would milk. Not because he wanted to drink the milk, because he wanted to enlighten the householders. It is a fact that saintly people go to materialists just to give real information of auspiciousness. And Maharaj Prithu was assured of this fact. So instead of wasting time, सीधा सीधा पूछ रहे हैं, मैं आपके बारे में नहीं पूछने वाला हूं, मैं मेरा क्या होगा वो बताइए. What will benefit me the most? This is not, however, a question personally for Prithu. He is not asking for himself because he is also a liberated being. He is a Shaktiavesh avatar, Palana Shakti. He is asking for ordinary people. Sukhaya karmani karoti loko na tay sukham vanya duparamam va vinnedha bhuya tateva dukkham tadatra yuktam bhagwan vadena. So that's what Vidurji asks Maitreya. People in this world, they are working for happiness, they get pain. इसीलिए Bhagwan Vyasdev has told Bhagavatam, can you please tell Bhagavatam? All the questions of Bhagavatam, they are not meant for the inquirer. They are meant for the audience. Varyaneshate prashna. आगे क्या है? कृतो लोक हितम. लोक हित के लिए पूछा है आपने. Shukdev Goswami is saying, अरे what question you asked? Wow. It is for the welfare of people in general. Atmavit sammata pumsam shrotam vyadishu yapara. They are worth hearing. The answers to these questions are worth hearing. The same thing when Shanakadi Rishi asks questions. Sud Goswami also says the same thing. Muniya sadhu prishtoham. What question you have asked? Lok mangalam. आपने लोक मंगल के लिए पूछा है. येनात्मा सुप्रसिद्धति. So that is how all the great personalities, they don't inquire for themselves. Because in the beginning, right at the beginning of Bhagavatam, all these great sages, they assembled to do 1,000 years yagya. सोच के बैठे ना 28,000 सेज, यज्ञ करेंगे जनसाधारण के कल्याण के लिए।
88,000.
वही 28, अच्छा सॉरी 88, 88. आफ्टर डूइंग फॉर फ्यू इयर्स व्हाट दे से, एक ही चीज हुई है, हमारे मुंह काले हुए हैं। एक्चुअली दैट्स व्हाट दे से, नहीं?
Yes.
धूम्र धूम्रात्मना भवान, our faces have become black because of smoke. आपायति गोविंद पाद पद्मासव मधु, तो आप कृपया करके कृष्ण कथा बताइए। वेलफेयर ऑफ जनरल दे आर डूइंग दैट, अपने लिए नहीं कर रहे हैं। So that is how Ritu Maharaj is not asking for himself. It was raised to teach the common man that whenever one meets a great person, he should immediately surrender and inquire about the relief from material pains. Samsara vishanale divani shihiya jale judaite na koi upay. Materialistic person can also be called a tapasvi because यहाँ पे word आया tapasvina. What tapasya materialistic person is doing?
Sense gratification.
Sense gratification कितना तपस्या है, आसान नहीं है. It is not easy to enjoy. Which means someone who is always suffering from material pains, बेचारा तपस्या कर रहा है, उनका तपस्या ज्यादा भयंकर है. At least we have some hope. Their life is hopeless only. मतलब एंड में तो कुछ मिलने ही नहीं वाला है. So that is why they are क्या बोल रहे थे? I was remembering something. Nice. For materialistic people, they are more charitable than ordinary people. They are giving their entire life salary for them, for other people. जितना भी कमा रहे हैं खुद के लिए कुछ नहीं करते हैं, सब घर वालों के लिए, समाज के लिए, खुद के लिए. They are the most detached people. They sacrifice their entire family, the entire body, entire time for what? For others. उसके लिए, दूसरों के लिए करते हैं, खुद के लिए कुछ नहीं करते हैं. सबसे सेल्फलेस वही लोग हैं. That's why similarly they are tapasvi. कितना तपस्या करते हैं. One can get rid of all these material pains only when he takes shelter of chanting. बोलो केर प्रेम धना हरिनाम संकीर्तन. Okay, now he continues. व्यक्तम आत्मवताम आत्मा भगवान आत्मभावनः स्वान अनुग्रहेयान माम् अनुग्रहाय माम् सिद्धरूपी चरत्यजः.
Supreme Personality of Godhead is always anxious to elevate the living entities who are his parts and parcels, and for their specific special benefit. The Lord travels all over the world in the form of self-realized persons like you.
So he's saying that actually the Lord is so merciful. Siddha Rupi Charati. The Lord is manifesting himself in so many forms. He comes as scriptures. He comes as avatars himself. He comes as saintly people. He sends his spiritual master, his devotees, his intimate associates. He comes as deities. He comes as holy name. So many forms Lord is appearing only for the welfare of people in general. He keeps sending. Whenever a great personality, Acharya, speaks in Parampara, it is Krishna who is speaking. Kasmayena vibhashitoyam atulo jnana pradipa pura tadarupena chanaradaya munaya krishnaya tadarupena yogindraya tadatmanat bhagavadarataaya karunyata tashuddham vimalam vishokam satyam param dhimahi. This is one of the last verses of Bhagavatam. In this verse, Sudha Goswami is saying, Kaha, when Brahma speaks to Narad Muni, Narad Muni, who is speaking? Krishna is speaking. Kasmai yena vibhashitoya matulo jnana pratipa pura. This jnana, which is unparalleled knowledge, Narada, when he gave to Narada, it is Krishna who gave. And tadarupena cha naradaya munaya krishnaya tadarupena. Who is Krishna? Krishna Muni? Vyasdev. So when Narad spoke to Vyasdev, it is Krishna who spoke to Vyasdev. Yogindraya tadatmanata bhagavad. Yogindraya. Who is Yogindraya? that is Shukadeva Goswami. When Vyasa spoke to Shukadeva, it is Krishna who spoke. And Yogendraya Tadatmanat Bhagavadarātāya. Who is Bhagavadarātāya? Vishnurataya. Who is Vishnurat? So Vishnurat कौन है? अस्मात् लोके विष्णु अस्मात् नामना विष्णुराटा इति लोके भविष्यति न संदेहो महाभागो महाभागवतो महान. विष्णुराट. तो विष्णुराट जो बोल रहे हैं किसको बोल रहे हैं? शुकदेव गोस्वामी उनको बोल रहे हैं कृष्णा is speaking. So Krishna, he is assuming so many forms just so that living entities can get delivered. He is really working hard. Prabhupada talks about different types of transcendentalists, jnanis, yogis, and bhaktas. So Kumaras, however, were both yogis and jnanis, and finally they became bhakta. Interestingly, this past time, when this is happening, these four Kumaras, they were not devotees yet. When they became devotee? That happened in Chakshush Manvantar. उसके बाद ही हिरण्याक्ष हिरण्यकशिपु आया ना. चाक्षुष मनवंतर का स्टोरी हो. ये चाक्षुष का नहीं है, ये स्वयंभू मनवंतर का स्टोरी चल रहा है. They are still Brahmavadis. So that is what is described. Later they became devotees. They were impersonalists in the beginning. Later developed devotional activities. Tasya Aravinda Nayanasya Padaravinda Kinjal Mishra Tulasi Makarandavai. So Prabhupada writes, the devotees are representatives of the Supreme Lord and they elevate the conditioned souls to original Krishna consciousness. These devotees are called as Atmavat. The word used here is Atmavatam Atma. So who are Atmavatam? Those who are self-realized. They are Atmavatam. And they have Paramatma sitting in their heart, always guiding them. So the Lord is really working hard. And Atmavatam, who are these Atmavatam? There are three kinds of devotees. Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttam. Prabhupada describes about these three types of devotees. And then he says, Kumaras were Mahabhagavatas because they became devotees ultimately. And it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, there are many devotees, but a devotee who is fully conversant in Vedic conclusion is very dear to me. Who is that? What is that verse? Tesham Jnani Nitya Mukta Ek Bhakti Vishishyate. So Jnani is the best of all. Because everyone is trying to enjoy sense gratification. Jnanis, they are liberated beings. They have Narayana in their heart. They are best of the spiritual masters. Sakshat Haritvena. Okay. So that's how Prithu Maharaj, he is glorifying all these four Kumaras. And now the question which he asked, Prithu Maharaj asked the question, how will I be delivered? So from 17 to 40, these are beautiful instructions Prithu Maharaj receives from Sanat Kumar. Maitreya Uvacha Pritostat Suktamakarnya Saram Bhumitam Matvu Mayamana Iva Pritya Kumara Pratyuvachaha.
The great sage Maitreya continued, thus Sanat Kumara, the best of the celebrates, after hearing the speech of Prithu Maharaja, which was meaningful, appropriate, full of precise words, and very sweet to hear, smiled with full satisfaction and began to speak as follows.
Anyone remembers the 7 qualities of the good speech of Prithu Maharaj? इसके पहले आया है. चारु, चित्रपदम, लक्षणम, दृष्टम, गूढ़म, अविक्लवम, सर्वेषाम उपकारार्थम. So the same, words are used here almost. They are meaningful. Saram. Shushtu means they are appropriate. Mitam. Mita means mitabhashi. Mitabhashi मतलब क्या होता है मालूम है?
Precise
yes,
words you use.
They speak very little, but precisely. That is mitabhashi. That is called as eloquence. You know what is eloquence? Chaitanya Charitamrita Kaviraj Goswami describes what is eloquence. Mitam cha saram cha vacho hi vagmita iti. Vagmita means eloquence. What is eloquence? The best words spoken precisely. Mitam cha saram. अच्छा बोलो, कम बोलो. If you can express in short, in brief, expertly, that is eloquence. मतलब बोलते जा रहे हैं और अरे कहना क्या चाहते हैं आप? मतलब कुछ लोगों को सुन के ऐसा लगता है ना, भाई मेन पॉइंट्स तो बताइए, बोलना क्या चाहते हैं? बोलते जा रहे हैं इधर का घुमा भाई precise. That is eloquence. So the more we are eloquent, one becomes attractive. Mitam. कम बोलिए, but speak precisely. So Prithu Maharaj's words were Saram, Sushto, Mitam, Madhu. And they were very pleasing to hear. It comes when Dhruv Maharaj, he's perfected his life. Nand Sunand आते हैं विमान लेके और इतना अच्छा बोलते हैं उनको, आपके फैमिली में कोई भी नहीं गया आज तक ऐसा. You are the best personality. You have achieved a position nobody has received in your entire dynasty. So वहाँ पे it is described. निशम्य वैकुंठ नियोज्य मुख्ययो मधुच्युतम वाचमुरुक्रम प्रिय. मधुच्युत, ऐसा लग रहा है कि मधु चू रहा है, टपक रहा है. The honey is dripping from the mouth of Nand Sunanda. सुनने में अच्छा लग रहा है. कुछ लोग बोलते हैं तो लगता है क्यों बोल रहे हैं. कर्कश सुना है. एक तो उनकी वाणी वैसी होती है और दूसरा उनके शब्द भी ऐसे रहते हैं. कर्कश मतलब वाणी खराब है और the words are harsh, disturbing. So that is not good. So word should be madhu. चार वहां पे क्वालिटीज दी हैं. सारम, सुष्ठु, मितम, madhu. So now, all these four Kumaras, when they heard these beautiful words, they smiled. Smayamana iva. They smiled as if smiled. They didn't smile completely. स्मित हास्य. वो नेक्टर ऑफ डिवोशन में है ना, वो आगे वाले चैप्टर्स में हास्य रस का भी बहुत सारे प्रकार होते हैं. पढ़ा है आप लोगों ने? हास्य रस में भी बहुत सारे प्रकार होते हैं. मतलब डिवोटी हंसते कैसे हैं वो भी अलग अलग वैरायटी होता है. एक तो स्मित हास्य होता है जिसमें टीथ आर नॉट विजिबल, हंसते हैं तो खाली स्माइल, उसके स्मित हास्य. फिर दूसरे में टीथ आर विजिबल और फिर ठहाके मार के हंस रहे. और दूसरा लास्ट वाला जो रहता है ना, उसमें वो बगल वाले के अरे क्या बोला है and laughing and falling down. So यहाँ पे क्या है? स्मित हास्य. उसका अच्छा वर्ड है वो, जो 4-5 लेवल का हास्य रस में बताया है. अभी पढ़ लीजिएगा. जनरली 19 चैप्टर के आगे जाते नहीं है. 19 चैप्टर के आगे बहुत सारा अच्छा है. हाँ, पढ़ाया नहीं है, लेकिन इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि पढ़ना नहीं है. प्रभुपाद ने लिखा है एनओडी फर्स्ट 19 चैप्टर्स ही हम पढ़ते हैं ना अपने भक्ति शास्त्री में. उसके आगे भी लिखा है, बहुत कुछ है. उसके आगे वाले जो वेव्स हैं, वी स्टडी ओनली द ईस्टर्न वेव, ईस्टर्न साइड ऑफ द भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु. उसमें भी पूरा नहीं, ईस्टर्न वेव पूरा नहीं पढ़ते हैं.
हमारा तो क्रैश कोर्स था.
क्रैश, उसमें ही क्रैश हो जाते हैं. So Prabhupada writes, Prithu Maharaj's talks before the Kumaras were very laudable because of so many qualifications. A speech should be composed of selected words, very sweet to hear and appropriate to the situation. Such speech is called meaningful, mitam. All these qualities were present in Prithu Maharaj's speech because he is a perfect devotee. Yasyasti Bhakti Bhagavati Aginchana. All the good qualities they manifest. Now, Sarat Kumar, first of all, he says, what a wonderful question you have asked. Look, this is always there. सब जगह पहले बोलते हैं क्या क्वेश्चन पूछा आपने, वाह मन खुश हो गया, क्वेश्चन सुन के ही मन खुश हो गया, ऐसा बोलते हैं. अरे चैट जीपीटी कोई सच में ऐसा ही बोलता है, व्हाट अ वंडरफुल क्वेश्चन. सनत कुमार उवाच साधु कृष्ण महाराजा
साधु कृष्ण महाराज
सर्वभूतात्मना. सर्व आपने जन कल्याण के लिए पूछा है, चैट जीपीटी वो नहीं बोलता. भवता विदुषा चापि साधूनां मतिरीदृशी.
साधूनां मतिरीदृशी.
नहीं बोलता चैट जीपीटी.
Sanat Kumar said, my dear King Prithu, I am very nicely questioned by you. Such questions are beneficial for all living entities, especially because they are raised by you who are always thinking of the good of others. Although you know everything, you ask such questions because that is the behavior of saintly persons. Such intelligence is befitting your position.
When Sanatana Goswami asks all these questions, he asks 4 questions to Mahaprabhu. Who am I? Why am I suffering? What is sadhya? What is sadhana? So first thing Mahaprabhu does is he also glorifies Sanatana Goswami. He says, you know all these things, but Dadhya Lagi. Dadhya Lagi means just for the purpose of strictness you are asking this question. You know all this. Dadhya Lagi you are asking.
Which 4 questions? Yes. Sanatana.
वही बोला ना आपको. Who am I? Why I am suffering? What is sadhya and what is sadhana?
तो बंगाली में भी उसका अच्छा से
के आमी के ने हमारे जारे तापत्र. और फिर उसका साध्य साधना वाला वो I don't remember the verse. साध्य साधन श्रेष्ठ ना हो निश्चय. So उसका भी मिल जाएगा, उसके आगे आता है वो. So he says, Sadhu Prishtam. What a wonderful question you have asked. Because Sarva Bhuta Hitatmana. It is for the welfare of every living entity. Especially because they are raised by you. You are thinking of others always. And Bhavata Vidusha. You know everything. But you are asking questions because sadhuna matiridrishi. It is behavior of saintly people to ask questions for everyone's welfare. It is befitting your position. Okay. Prabhupada writes, Maharaj Prithu was well conversant in transcendental science, yet he presented himself toward the Kumaras as one ignorant of it. The idea is that even if a person is exalted and knows everything, before his superior he should present questions. Arjun knew everything. He questioned Krishna as if he didn't know. Prithu Maharaj knows everything. Still he is questioning as if he doesn't know. So that's how it is always there. Even in the 10th canto, when Parikshit Maharaj asks question to Shukadeva Goswami about this Aghasur pastime and how Aghasur was killed and the cowherd boys, they discussed it after 1 year. So Shukadeva Goswami also speaks, what a wonderful question you have asked. Yan nutanaya shishyasya shrinnapi kathamu. And the great devotees like you, for you, the pastimes of Krishna, they are always new. You know all the answers. But you are Bhagavatottama. Bhagavatottama, you are asking such question. He continues. Sangama khalu sadhunam उभयेषां च सन्मतः यत् सम्भाषण सम्प्रश्ना सर्वेषां वितनोति शम्.
When there is a congregation of devotees, their discussions, questions, and answers become conclusive to both the speaker and the audience. Thus, such a meeting is beneficial for everyone's real happiness.
Sangama khalu sadhunam. Certainly, khalu means certainly. When there is sangam of sadhus, when there is congregation of devotees, and in that sangam, what happens? Sambhashana samprashna. Discussions, questions, and answers. They are ubhayesham cha sammataha. They are conclusive to both. They are for the welfare of both speaker and the audience. And sarvesham vitanoti sham. Sham means auspiciousness. They create auspiciousness for everyone. So that's how whenever the congregation of devotees happens, it brings welfare for people in general. There are famous conversations and meetings in Bhagavatam. Narada, Brahma, the first conversation in second canto. Then Maitreya Vidurji Samvad. Then Krishna and Uddhav ka Uddhav Geet chal raha hai. Then of course Shukdev Goswami Parikshit Maharaj Samvad. That is all for the welfare of people in general. Ubhayesham cha sammataha. So all those questions, they are for the welfare of everyone. As Brahmaji, when he was asked by Narad Muni, I think you are the supreme. You are creating, you are maintaining, you are destroying on your own. You don't take help of anyone. I think you are the supreme. Like spider, Urna Nabi. So Brahmaji ne bole, barabar samjha. Main hu. Oh, he says, what a wonderful question. You have asked this question for my benefit. Samyak karunikassedam vatsate vichikitsitam tadham chodita saumya bhagavad virya darshane. You have allowed me to contemplate the power of Supreme Lord. That is how the speaker responds. ऐसा नहीं कि बैठो मैं आपका कल्याण करूंगा. That's how Maitreya Muni, when he was asked by Vidurji, what he says? First, he glorifies Vidurji. Satsevaniyo Bhatapuru Vamsho Yallo Kapalo Bhagavat Pradhana. You are coming from the dynasty of great devotees. Satsevaniyo. Puruvamsha is glorified as the great devotees of the Lord. Yallo Kapalo Bhagavat Pradhana. All the kings in your dynasty, they are Bhagavat Pradhana. Babhuvitheha Jita Kirti Mala Pade Pade Nutanayasya Bhikshnam. You have garland, you are wearing this garland of Kirti of the Lord. And because you are so absorbed in Krishna, all the pastimes, they become newer in your association. So that's how the association of devotees, they are beneficial for everyone. Prabhupada writes, hearing discussions among the devotees is the only means to receive the powerful message of Supreme Lord. Like Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Sanat Kumar informed Prithu Maharaj that his meeting with Kumaras benefited not only Maharaj Prithu, but Kumaras as well. They are not saying, Chalo, we have come to deliver you. No, we have come to get benefited. In 12th canto, there is a description one time, Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati, they are traveling in the airways, skies, and they see Markandeya Muni doing tapasya. Parvati tells Lord Shiva, we should go and give him some blessings. Kitne achhe devotee hain dekho. Lord Shiva says he doesn't need benedictions. He doesn't want benedictions. He is absorbed in Krishna. Still, we should go and associate with them because associating with saintly people like him is beneficial for us also. अथापि संवदिष्यामो भवानी एतेन साधुना. चलो बात करते हैं उनसे. जस्ट बात करके आएंगे. संवदिष्यामो. क्यों? अयम ही परमो लाभो निनाम साधु समागम. अरे, meeting great people are beneficial for us also. So Narad Muni, so Prithu Maharaj is asking and Kumaras are saying, मेरा benefit हो रहा है. So he's quoting, Prabhupada is quoting Brahma also. Narad Muni asked Brahma, and Brahma ji thanked. Thank you, आपने question पूछा. Ubhayesham. Ubhayesham means it is for both. Who are these both? Transcendentalists and materialists. They both get benefited. For materialists, they get some material benefits out of it, and gradually they get purified of those material desires. And transcendentalists, they get more and more absorbed in Krishna consciousness. That's how it is beneficial for both. Okay, so we'll stop here. So Prithu Maharaj, he asked what is beneficial for himself. So now Kumaras, they will start answering. What is beneficial? 19th. So Kumaras, actually they say in the next verse, you have already done what is most beneficial for you. You have practiced devotional service. You are attached to the Lord. That's what he will say in the next verse. Okay, we'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai.
Jai.